so that you know that your defensive structure can hold up to the threat that they're presenting, and as a result, you can just march up to them.
One, scene one, take one.
Okay guys, Bernardo Faria here, huge honor for me. Guys, very special day. We are here in the Washington DC area, and today we're gonna go film with Ryan Hall, one of the biggest Jiu-Jitsu names, also one of the biggest Jiu-Jitsu representatives on MMA. He's building an amazing career through Jiu-Jitsu on UFC. He's well known as the Wizard, so we're super excited about that, and it's gonna be the first instructional video with him at BJJFanatics.com. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we're gonna show you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes. Hope you enjoyed. Okay guys, just arrived here. Ryan Hall School. Super excited. Let's go inside. Very cool.
Means of making it difficult for them to move you, then you should be fine. If not, you're going to probably struggle, right? At least to get up. However, when you go underneath somebody, you start to be able to dictate access to like the paths behind them. Because if you're a human being, let's say if I don't want nobody underneath me and I sit like this, there's not a huge space here, right? If it's on, yeah, it's under the body.
Becoming comfortable with someone nose to nose with you, so that you know that your defensive structure can hold up to the threat that they're presenting, and as a result, you can just march up to them like a tank.
Hey Tom, you gonna get like threes in or whatever? We'll get
what's his name?
Rocky.
How do you get his name?
Because my son is a big fan of Paw Patrol, and apparently Rocky is his favorite pup.
Good boy.
You're on camera, dude. Get your face out your nuts. How old were you when you began?
14. What about you?
I was 19.
19. Oh yeah, so
That's not so bad, yeah.
it's kind of cool that you started like a year late, but even though you still made it
with my time. So I have nothing, no excuse.
All right, and you won the World is purple,
Yes.
right? And the year when you got third place in the ADCC, you were still brown belt.
Yes. I think I was always a little bit better, than you know.
And then which year did you start in the NBA?
2012.
2012.
I did my first fight in 2006. I got put into a professional fight. I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for like a year, but I didn't know it was a pro fight. Somebody said, "Hey, do you want to fight?" That was the one where I had a loss. Yeah, my first fight was a loss, and I looked like a raccoon afterwards. The money that I got for the fight, and I was super depressed. I was like, "Man, this is a terrible night. I'm gonna go and take this, and I'm gonna go to a casino, and I'm gonna go play cards. It's gonna get way better." In 15 minutes, like the $300 that I had was gone. My Jiu-Jitsu was terrible, and I also had no wrestling and no striking. But I had like a thick skull, so you could hit me and
Yeah.
keep on going. Yeah, I'm also full-time MMA, but I'm really hoping to come back to ACC this year.
And nowadays the weigh-in is in the same day of
Same day, yeah. For 2009, it was the day before, so I felt great.
How do you split between like striking and jiu-jitsu?
Both every day, honestly. Rocky, hey! Rocky!
Hey, buddy.
Talk a little bit so you can.
In my defense, I've always been an idiot. So, all of this for me. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Ryan Hall, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the modern defensive guard as I see it, that's going to allow you to be effective in gi, no gi, wrestling, fighting. I hope you guys enjoy what we're doing.
Dude, we're doing like this much cursing. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I'm shocked.
Who's talking first?
I start.
Thank you.
And then we're gonna say the huge honor for me. Okay guys, I'm here today with Ryan Hall. Huge honor for me here in the 50/50 Martial Arts Academy in the Washington DC area. One of the nicest schools I've ever been. Very cool. I trained here with Dan as well. It was very nice. And guys, Ryan is shooting an entire instruction all about his modern defensive guard. And today he's gonna show us here like a way that he developed that he want to encourage everybody to utilize the hipscape.
I went to actually a seminar with Juiz Gracie. That changed my jiu-jitsu life, man. It was really, really interesting to have kind of things sink in over time. And one of the big issues that I've seen with the hip escape, oftentimes, if we start to consider the positions in concept, I think the way that we're attaching ourselves to the bottom is, generally speaking, not a great idea. Let me explain. So if I'm standing for a moment, if I find myself in base and I find myself in proper position, whether for wrestling or striking, if you were to see me standing like this, Bernardo, do you feel like I'm going to be able to do very much?
Yep, it's gonna be hard for you, right?
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. You grab my leg. If I find myself in proper base, I'm going to be able to at least attempt to defend myself. I'm going to have more access to my balance. If I try to attack Bernardo right now, who's in powerful position, I'm in powerful position and I don't know how to protect myself, then the issue is awareness or knowledge. If I'm out of powerful position, even if I have knowledge, I can't do anything. It's like having a gun with no bullets in it. So what I want you guys to consider is, if I was walking around the room like this, you should attack me now, not now. Now, not now. Each time. Well, with hip escape, there's two huge problems. My power comes from the floor. It's transferred through my body, off of the ground force reaction, all this other stuff that goes over my head for the most part. If you notice, my feet are in good position now. Now they're in terrible position. I have almost no ability to be powerful. What comes next is we go, oh, and I grab this guy. Is what I'm buying worth what I'm getting? And oftentimes the answer is no. You go, do I want a cheeseburger? I'm like, yeah, I want a cheeseburger for $400. Like, no, I don't want a cheeseburger for $400. Get away from me. Why? Not because the cheeseburger's not delicious, but no cheeseburger is that delicious. So if I'm trying to move and I'm trying to deal with someone else, I would go shrimp, get my foot back together. Hip escape, get my foot back together. So there's gonna be a significant base issue just to start with. The second issue that I'm gonna have to start with is going to be addressed in the centerline principle, in the edge versus square, and also in the alignment principle. If I'm on my back and you lean on me, please, don't be nice. Please don't be nice. You can kill me. I'm like, I hate this. If you lean on me when I'm sideways, if we come back, he's still heavy. He's still a world champion and a bigger guy, but it doesn't feel as terrible. Go to my belly and you lean on me. I'm like this, not so bad because I can't get up. Now, of course, Bernardo's going to take my back and do all sorts of other things, but that's a secondary issue. They say, oh, if I turn this way, Bernardo's going to take my back. Well, yeah, but he's currently crushing me to death. If we come back for a moment, if we start in half guard and Bernardo, if you have the underhook, do you think if we wrestle from here that you're probably going to pass by better? Please be honest.
I think so.
What if I get to have this underhook? Do you still feel pretty confident you're going to pass?
Now it's a different game.
A little bit different, but would you say it's still a good position for you?
Yes, I would probably switch my base here, try to get another hook back.
By turning and opening my center line to Bernardo, I'm putting myself in a position to just get crushed. Your hip escape oftentimes is going to be better replaced. Let's simply this. Turning away, putting the side of your body in the way, or even the turtle shell, and then using that to deal with the pressure. Because what I would say is,
a lot of times when it comes to, you know, really, really high level grappling, if you get to the half guard and you have a good underhook, you're gonna pass most times.
Yep.
Me returning to that position is not a win. In a purple belt, blue belt, even brown belt, or even lower level black belt, yeah, you can be like, and then recover. You're fighting for something that you actually don't want. I'm in side control and Bernardo Faria heavy. I'm like, this is terrible. Now we're gonna try to take my back, you're gonna lean on me, but at least I feel more athletic. At least I don't feel like immediately crushed, but this is what I would have done years ago. I'm like, oh, cool. And then, you know what?
Yep. And now you're
Don't be nice. What happens now?
Try to push it all again.
All right, I put myself back in a position where my body's basically a catcher's mitt. Generally speaking, have no power here anyway. Even if you have power, the level of power you have compared to the grown man leaning on you, just trying to crush you into the floor, is pretty silly. It's very small. So generally speaking, the hip escape, as we're traditionally taught, I would strongly encourage you guys against using. I would encourage you guys to start to approach the situation much more like it's wrestling, turning away and learning how to defend your back. I think you're gonna get a lot more mileage out of that, and I think you're gonna keep yourself out of an attritive situation where pressure and time are not your friend. I think like if the best players in the world were doing no time limit submission only matches, you'd still be crushing people from half guard and slowly but surely arm triangle, take the back and finish. You know, like Lucas Lepre is not gonna struggle in a submission only match. He's gonna do exactly what he does and just crush people. It doesn't matter. If you take away the points, I've trained with Lucas, it's still like you're squashed into the floor. If we go part way away rather than the whole, you're gonna tend to find that there's a lot of value there, and you're gonna be able to get yourself into a more athletic situation where you're gonna be able to counterattack more effectively more often, in my opinion.
Got it. All right, I'm watching you doing the instructional, and one thing that I'm very like surprised is like how much you understand about the human body, and even like the physiology of the human body. And I think like this move here kind of explains that as well, because instead of like hip escape as everybody does, you're thinking about almost like sitting up and aligning your body on a way that now you can attack your opponent.
I'm always trying to improve the power that my body can generate and reduce the power that theirs can. We all remember training with Marcelo Garcia, like he would get to these spots. You need to not let that happen at a certain point. And I think a lot of times those situations are not as obvious as apparent at a lower level because people make mistakes at the lower level. They let you off the hook. Really, you were dead, but they let you out.
Yeah, at this point, you are probably like one of, or the biggest jiu-jitsu representative on UFC. Like, and you are winning using jiu-jitsu.
Trying to.
Which is very, like many people, they come from jiu-jitsu and they end up becoming strikers. No, you were doing striker, you're doing wrestling, but you were winning all the matches using jiu-jitsu, it's really amazing. You know, like,
I believe deeply in jiu-jitsu, as we all do, and you go, how can I make this thing work when the other guy does not want to grapple? If we start talking about MMA, I don't want to put my body back in this shape. It's danger. If I can turn away and hide behind my turtle shell and convince this other person to grab me, as opposed to punch me in the face, I would say that would be a big thing as well.
A very interesting thing about you is that when you got third place in the ADCC, you were just a brown belt. So I can imagine how much your jiu-jitsu has developed since then until nowadays, right?
It had to, because I've been training for about 5 years at the time, and then I realized that I was okay, and then I trained with Murilo Santana and Marcelo Garcia, and I realized I wasn't very good. Yeah, but I've done nothing but jiu-jitsu during that time. I was fortunate to be in a situation where I could commit full time to it.
A lot of people commit full time and then they don't even qualify to the ADCC, so that's super impressive.
Thanks, man. We're going to be funneling into out, demonstrating, examples, centerline concept, alignment principle, edge versus square, and for the purposes of finding your way into grappling positions that, again, I've been able to use this gi, no gi fighting, and it's something that's made a very, very big difference for me. What I want to be able to do is get close to Bernardo without feeling like I'm going to get crushed. When I'm squared up, I have to understand the values of that. I have all 4 of my limbs, I have my head, so I guess you could say 5 limbs. It's when I turn to my edge, I turn sideways and I present this sideways like a karate chop profile to Bernardo, that I'm going to actually be able to utilize one of my limbs behind me for additional structure. You feel very powerful and heavy, but it's allowing me to underhook. Now watch this, I'm going to change my shape a little bit, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah. When I went from my square to my edge, if my underhook is here, I feel fine. When I underhooked like this and I started to reach around Bernardo, if you notice, the shape of my body changed from kind of convex, like pointy, to concave, and now I started to become crushed. I don't want to pull my opponent through me because it actually crumbles my structure. Can you back away, please, Bernardo? Should be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Can you come closer?
I can.
So I'm managing distance. I don't want to push Bernardo away from me as if I could, because again, he's got great pressure. The idea that I could push him off me is a little bit silly. I'm going to be able to build. I can start to create pressure, and then if you start to drive back in to keep me down, I'm like, man, maybe I don't like this. I think I'm going to start to slide back to my square. I can use my turtle shell square. Can you be heavy, please?
No way.
If I change my shape, I immediately get crushed. When I started to break the rules, I started to notice really, really significant problems. My ability to sustain pressure coming in, which at a high level, everyone has pressure. If you have proper technique, then it works on everyone, right?
Yep.
If I have technique, and that's what I kind of experienced when I was earlier on in my career, things worked pretty well against most people, and then they didn't work at all against the best guys. Any sort of pressure that I have coming in, recognizing that we can rotate from our squares to our edge, to our square, to our edge, competed with the best guys in the world. So you know what it's like to have the heaviest, best, strongest people leaning on you, but you know how to make the little changes with your body that
find angles that
that diffuse the pressure, because if they get to do what they want, of course they're going to be successful. So we're looking for, again, guiding principles that tell us how to compose our body, and that's what you're going to see a lot of in here.
All right, so would you say that the biggest difference from the young Ryan Hall to the today's Ryan Hall is this understanding about how to position yourself?
Absolutely.
And how to find the angles to make sure you can absorb the high pressure and also put a lot of pressure?
Absolutely. Before it was tricks and traps, and if you were vulnerable to the tricks and traps, I could get you. Best guys in the world that were more fundamentally sound, I might get lucky or effectively lucky every now and then, but it wasn't consistent. They were able to win against the other best people consistently, not just 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. And that's because their fundamental positioning is better. I think I was a demonstration that you could go pretty far by being tough and tricky. You know, the things that we're discussing in this course and that we'll discuss in the future are the big difference between a pretty high level of success and a world-class level.
Yeah, no, and I think like even nowadays watching fight on UFC, you position yourself on situations that, one, looks like everything is easy, and two, looks like it's really hard for them even to hit you, to find you.
We should be able to be successful in gi and no gi and MMA if we have the practice, because the principles that allow us to be powerful, they transcend.
Just last week we had like Warren Ryan and Nicolas Merigati both training gi and no gi. Mm-hmm. And they both did very well on the
fantastic.
That's jiu-jitsu, you know. You were a great example of that, you know, like you did well with gi, you did well no gi, and now you're being one of the only ones that are getting to use jiu-jitsu on MMA.
When you're talking about guys like Merigali, guys like Gordon, you know, it's like guys like yourself, you know, you're talking about some people that their fundamentals are so strong and they have so much experience that they are able to grasp, whether intellectually or intuitively, like the magic, the most important things that they can take from one sport or one type of the art to another type of the art. And if they were to do submission only or points or wrestling, they would all be good. They would be fine no matter what. But I think that sometimes the things that allow that you can be successful at a slightly lower level without that understanding.
I was watching you teaching this instructional, Ryan, and it fascinates me how much you understand about the physiology of the human body. Everybody who buys our videos, they want to understand exactly those whys that you teach, you know, like why when you're playing butterfly, you should stay like this with your body aligned.
Yeah.
Because many times we learn the moves, but we learn like, oh, do this.
Yeah.
But why I'm doing this? And you get to articulate that so well that makes it easy to understand. You know?
I'm trying. I've always been too stupid to be able to figure out each individual move, and also too stubborn. If I don't understand why, I'll like sit in the corner and not want to do anything. So I would say that that's been the thing that's helped me, and I hope that it can be helpful to other people too.
Okay. Yeah, probably there's a reason why your nickname is the Wizard.
Because I'm a dork.
Guys, Ryan just showed an entire instruction all about the modern defensive guard. That is pretty much like the guard that you see he using lately in the UFC and also like on all his grappling career.
ADCC later this year.
But all with and he's also gonna do the ADCC this year. So you're gonna see a lot of this guard. And we follow these new principles that he developed. And so make sure to check out the course. It's gonna be very soon at BJJFanatics.com. Maybe by the time you're watching, it's already there. So make sure to check that out. And thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.